Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we're going to talk about Overlord. Today's topic will be the handsome and brilliant emperor of the Baharut Empire, where all the stress and paranoia that the Bone Daddy Ainz caused him unknowingly did result in him being just a shadow of his former glory. I'm of course talking about Emperor Jircniv. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with who Jircniv is. Jircniv Rune Farlot El Nix is the current emperor of the Baharut Empire, also known as the Bloody Emperor, for his violent purge of the nobility. Upon learning of Ainz, he intended to turn him into his pawn until he learned of his true nature. Afterwards, while initially opposing the Sorcerer King, he ultimately submitted and became his vassal. Jircniv is extremely charismatic and well educated both in academics and the culture of courtly life. From a young age, he was groomed for his position as an emperor and has cultivated a well-crafted persona of a great ruler. Outwardly, he shows calm and confidence as he believes people will only follow strong leaders. Even in the direst of circumstances, he maintains a cool head and will act rationally for the good of his empire. In addition to that, he is very careful about his reputation, controlling his body language perfectly as to not show even the slightest hint of weakness. He always puts off the front of a friendly gentleman and will always be polite in spite of his feelings. Part of the reason for his excessive focus on appearance is to give those he deals with a favorable impression. Using an amiable demeanor and warm smile, he is able to unravel the defenses of his opponents, or thus he will use to gain an understanding about their personalities and how best to manipulate them. Where he can read the intentions of a particular opponent who is shrouded in a cloak of suspicion. On the other hand, Jircniv is considered to be a very ambitious person, as in his lifetime he managed to purge most of the nobles to consolidate his power while doing away with anyone who opposed him. Although he is ruthless about his own authority, he doesn't seem to be concerned with power in of itself. Rather, Jircniv wants to create a great empire that will stand the test of time. He focuses only what's beneficial to his empire's development and growth and tries to rid away with anything that will get in the way of that objective. As such, he is a very pragmatic ruler and will even elevate commoners to high-ranking positions if they are capable of doing an excellent job. He will also not attempt to do anything immoral if there is no reason to do so. For instance, returning the noblewoman he wanted to offer to Ainz Lugon as a peace offering, which later turned out to be unnecessary after the meeting. As for his past, Jircniv's mother was from the 5 great families of the Empire. He had been born and raised as a candidate to be the next emperor, and everyone around him of his age considered him the crown prince. Chadwick and his mother was accused of assassinating the emperor. In order to secure the throne, Jircniv had to eliminate those that were close to him, and as a result, all of his family members were killed for political reasons. Since then, part of his heart has remained broken. Despite losing his family, he continued to live on with his life, managing to become crown prince and taking command of his imperial knights. At the age of 12, and after his ascension to the throne, he executed the order to purge many of the nobles who dared try to oppose him. Due to the amount of bloodshed and violence he used during the purge, he became known as the Bloody Emperor. Under his regime, he strengthened and enriched the empire using his political power, overwhelming charisma, and military strength. He is considered the greatest emperor in the nation's history by its people. During the annual war between the Riested Kingdom and Baharut Empire, Jircniv encountered Gazar Stronov on the battlefield and tried to recruit him to his side, but he utterly refused his offer. In the past, he also met Kista, who was part of the diplomatic mission from the Karsan City-State Alliance to the Baharut Empire. They had conversed with each other at a reception gala that was held afterwards. As for his abilities, as the emperor of his nation, Jircniv has absolute political and military power within the empire. He has military experience from the enduring conflict between the kingdom and the emperor. In the past, he had faced Gazev on the battlefield itself. His senses were very sharp, and he had once discovered that a seemingly loyal noble had actually been scheming and plotting secretly with nobles hostile to him. Now, he sent those sensors to the Optimist in order to pick up every clue he could uncover. Jircniv has also displayed something akin to that of a sixth sense, a scene where even though the most powerful magic casters of the Emperor were unable to detect anything wrong, he was still able to sense that Ainz had placed him under surveillance magic and somehow felt a pagan of uncomfortability every time Ainz was watching him secretly, despite he having no skill or magic giving him this ability. As for his relationship with Ainz, when he first learned of Ainz Ulgon, he sought more information on him to see whether he could be a threat or an asset to the Emperor. He also wanted to see if it was possible to use Ainz and bring him over to his side. To this end, he sent 5 worker groups into Nazareth just to get a sense of Ainz's personality. When his castle is breached by Aura and Mare riding a dragon while casually dispatching his elite knights, including one of the 4 knights, his attitude changed from curiosity to wariness. Realizing that Ainz had enough power to do tremendous harm to the Emperor, he resolved to find out as much as possible about Ainz to try to negotiate and manipulate him, or, in the Emperor's words, have a battle of words in lieu of using force. However, upon learning that Ainz is an undead, Jircniv's views changed from wariness to outright horror, realizing there was no way he could control him. This fear only grew when Ainz casually created a Death Knight right in front of him, using the head of a count that sent the workers. Due to his prejudice against undead, the Emperor sees Ainz as the ultimate threat to humanity, with the extent of his power driving him paranoid to the danger Ainz possesses. He also believes Ainz to be a genius who can easily see through any plan he comes up with and has been manipulating a vast conspiracy against him in the Emperor. After Ainz displays his full power, the Emperor's stress and paranoia towards the Sorcerer King causes his mental and physical health to decline. He has trouble sleeping, develops a stressed stomach ulcer, and starts losing his hair while feeling as though he is being watched several times. Unknown to him, Ainz is actually spying on him using scrying magic. During this time, Ainz was introducing himself to the emissary of the slain Tecrocracy. Jircniv believes Ainz to be a sadist and that he enjoys toying with everyone. In the end, after his bid to form an alliance with the slain Tecrocracy failed and his last hope of the martial lord killing Ainz was shattered, he finally gave up and submitted to him in an attempt to guarantee his survival. Ironically, the Emperor, with realization, ended up solidifying his rule and took a huge administrative burden off his shoulders, causing him to actually be grateful to Ainz. Nevertheless, he is still afraid of the undead king. As for his relationship with Demiurge, he first met Demiurge while visiting Nazareth, during which the demon was in his toad form. The demon left a big impression on him when he used his command mantra to force his escort to bow before Ainz, even though he himself was unaffected due to his medallion's protection. After discussing it with Silverthread Bird, he came to believe that Demiurge might be a toadman, who were known for their magical voices. As for his relationship with Fluder, Jircniv loved and looked up to Fluder as if he were his own father, and Fluder loved him as if he were his son, as he was the one who raised him, even referring to him as Grams. He knows Fluder well, being aware of his obsession with magic and his bizarre personality. That knowledge allowed him to realize Fluder's treason. After he figured out his mentor betrayed him to Ainz Ulgon, his love seems to have evaporated and he schemed to have him replaced. It is unknown how their current relationship is after the Emperor became a vassal state. As for his relationship with Payer Euro, in a surprising twist of fate, the Emperor has become quite close with Cuoco ruler, so much that he even considers him the first true real friend. This is strengthened by the fact that both have gone through similar turmoils before and became servants of the Sorcerer King. The two will usually meet with one another on a regular basis, including eating and drinking together. His friendship with the Cuoco changed his assumption on demi-humans and even accepting them as equals. As for his relationship with Rikista, he met her when the latter was a top-level officer of the envoy who traveled to the Emperor for a diplomatic mission. Upon meeting each other face-to-face afterwards, the two had a conversation that was held at the reception gala. Jircniv described the kind of woman he most preferred to be married to would be with someone like Kista. She was the kind of woman who understood how scheming Jircniv is, thinking that the latter was quoting something silently. He was viewed by her as a rich in intelligence, wealth and charm. As for his relationship with Renare, Princess Renara is ranked number 1 of Jircniv's list of women he despises the most, to the point he wishes to have her assassinated. Despite his animosity, however, he cannot help but feel admiration for her progressive ideals and even cooperating some himself. The actual reason behind his hatred is because she is one of the few people who he cannot read, which scares him. As for his relationship with Lenas, Jircniv sees Lenas as the least loyal of the 4 Imperial Knights. He earned her loyalty by allowing her to have her revenge against those who wronged her. However, he is aware that she would easily abandon him to save her own life or to lift her curse. After the massacre at the Katze Plains, Jircniv believed Lenas was planning to steal information and effect to the Sorcerer Kingdom, so he kept her on a short leash. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on Jircniv. And that will be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.